as part of our business model, what are the things we do in-house versus the things that we delegate. So typically, you're going to have a lot of firms choosing to keep insourcing your core activity and outsource everything that they're not necessarily best at, or in other words, of other specialists are better. So that would be outsourcing your IT to the cloud, and I'll have other examples when we talk about concrete examples soon enough. Call center, customer service, a classic examples are your call center outsourced, either to cheaper than you are or to more expensive that you could do. I'll go back to that again. But of course, when you outsource your call center, you also outsource your customer interface. So that also comes with very specific risk of customer image. Not everybody would agree with that. Maybe for smaller firms, you could, and not in the financial sector, quite obviously, but in the non-financial sector, outsource some international treasuries, finance functions, or accounting function more for micro firms. And in general, any sort of technical job for which a company doesn't have necessarily the expertise, you can have suppliers for that. And that also includes consultants. But by suppliers and third parties, I mean more, and I think that's the general acceptation of the market, more essential suppliers, I would say, suppliers of service rather than contracting labor. So the notion of outsourcing your non-core activity is, of course, to exploit as much as possible what you're best at and not to dilute your effort in your non-core business. The other element that is not straightforward to everybody is, why do you outsource? Besides the exploitation of your competitive advantage, do you outsource to save costs, or do you outsource to gain quality? And these are entirely different decisions and consequences in terms of risk. If you outsource to save cost, so to cheaper than what you could organize yourself, for companies that do not necessarily are cheaper for economies of scale, but are cheaper because they're elsewhere. And that's a classic example of call center in Bangalore that are now actually, there were so many call centers in Bangalore that now India has become almost as expensive as a lot of countries where they were delegated the services. So it's moving to Nigeria, etc. And it's moving gradually to places that are cheaper in terms of labor cost, which is great in terms of savings, but they usually companies that are geographically distant, sometimes also in terms of business practice being distant, and so you lose a number of level of control, sometimes a level of quality, and so basically you acquire risk. Okay, you trade, you buy safety, or you acquire risk at a lower cost.